Good morning, and today I'm going to be covering which local marketing expenses are tax deductible. I'm Rosie Slosick of onemanbandaccounting.co.uk, and I don't do your normal thing, and I'm certainly not stuck in the 19th century. I do retreat coaches and coursing for one-man bands in the UK, particularly if you're a sort of digital type and you love the internet, or you're an introvert and you work from home, or if you're a freelancer, and of course you have to love cake. So go and have a look at my profile. It's onemanbandaccounting.co.uk/periscope, and say all the links what I'm talking about here, and there's an article about it, so you can find out more. You can find out more there. So it's good morning. I see all my I see I've got people down there, but the links. Oh, there we are. There's a bit of a delay on this morning. There we go. So today I'm doing a Q&A about local marketing expenses. So what am I talking here? So I say all of us, even if you're fairly location independent, meaning you don't have to be in a particular place, most of us have local marketing expenses, even if we're not geographically fixed in a particular area. So I'm talking press. So for example, newspapers, magazines, I'm talking printing, flyers, leaflets, door-to-door, cold calls to your local area, attending events in the local area, and quick check. That's it. Yes, advertising, of course, and networking. Now, networking here means going and talking to people and building relationships. It doesn't mean the kind with the phone lines. But that's again, particularly networking is one of the biggest ways actually that you can build a network very, very quickly. That wasn't meant to come up here. There we go. I don't know if you saw that or not, but sorry, one of my notifications that wasn't meant to come up suddenly came up. So I say they're the big ones. So again, I'm going to be taking questions. So if you have a question, just jump in and ask at the bottom there. And I'm going to quickly do a run through of all the major ones. So the first one is press. So again, which of the local marketing expenses are tax deductible? So your local press, they're usually fairly cheap. Basically, you may need to be paying to be in the more sort of advertising ones, but generally speaking, we're talking magazines and we're talking newspapers. And for those, there may be a lunch with a journalist or something like that, which is not tax deductible expense, but that really is usually a low cost option, meaning that the skill is actually getting in there in the first place. And it's about, knowing how to talk to journalists and when you need to contact journalists, which I say, it's not what I'm going to be talking about today. But again, that's a more PR thing. But actually, the tax deductible expenses are that one. There's hardly any of them, say they're usually okay. The travel part of it, again, that's the only thing that's definitely tax deductible. Again, if you happen to take a journalist out for lunch or a coffee, that isn't. So sorry. So the next one is printing. Now this is easy. So we're talking flyers, we're talking leaflets, we're talking big banners, all that kind of stuff. Business cards. Pretty much every single one of those is tax deductible. It's lovely. It's really, really nice. Oh, and the other thing is the graphics. Obviously, you can't you need to have the graphics done before you can actually have any of these things printed. And of course, if you pay someone to do your graphics for you, that's tax deductible as well. Thank you very much. So that one's really, really simple. So the third one are cold calls. Now for this, a cold call is when you call somebody who you don't already have a relationship with. So we're talking someone who's not already indicated that they're interested in what you do or what you're selling or what you're offering, and calling them up. There are also warm calls, which are somebody who has previously indicated that they're interested in what you're doing. And again, calling those, the only real cost there is the actual cost of the call, which are tax deductible, but obviously you do need to keep the records of that. So that's nice and simple. So number 4 is door-to-door. So you can either get someone to do this for you. So again, this is partly to do with leafleting or actually physically going and talking to people, which you might not have actually thought of. but it can be a really, really good way of doing it if you choose it well. So I'm not necessarily talking about choosing a very wide area and going physically talking to people door to door, which we have occasionally around here. When certain companies suddenly get seed funding from VCs, we'll get them coming round door to door. Now that's incredibly time and energy and sometimes money intensive. But again, say you're a local yoga teacher, you might want to actually have a try if you know that there are certain specific areas that it might be actually worth a try that, because there's nothing like talking to people, and you're not necessarily going to be selling here. We're talking about do you know this is here, just so it's nice and relaxed. So if someone doesn't really want to open the door to you, because hello, I've been there too, it happens, they don't feel sold to. It's like, do you know this is happening? Okay, that's brilliant. Can I leave a leaflet? And then you leave. So if you pay someone to do that for you, that's tax deductible. And obviously the leaflets and all the printing, that is as well. The cost of your travel to and from where you're going, assuming it's not that close to probably really close already, but if you do need to travel, that's tax deductible as well. The only thing that probably isn't is the cost of if you need lunch or something. That isn't. It's called entertainment. So, number 5. Networking. Now this is the biggie. So I said I've got a post on claiming networking expenses, which is if you go to onemanbandaccounting.co.uk/periscope, that's ONEMANBAND accounting.co.uk/periscope. Don't think I've already put the link into the networking expenses particularly, but I will do that. And networking expenses is, so for example, we have membership fees, we have event fees to go into the networking event. They're all tax deductible. Your travel to and from, that's tax deductible. The thing where people come unstuck is when food and drink is separate. So for example, you pay to go to an event, or the event is free, and you need to pay for lunch, dinner, refreshments, teas, coffees, whatever. They are not tax deductible. HMRC are very, very clear on this one. It's entertainment. This doesn't mean you don't go, but it still means it's a business expense. It's just not tax deductible. And a lot of people think that they are, and they're not. And again, same thing if you go to a one-to-one with someone in a cafe. It's not that you don't do it, but it's not tax deductible. So, advertising, number 6, I've run out of hands. Pretty much all advertising costs are tax deductible. So sign up for your local bus. One of my favourite ones actually is putting a logo on the side of your car. If you're very geographically based, that can be a really, really good one, and that's tax deductible. Another one is sort of advertising is the exception. Almost all clothing is not tax deductible. Even if you've only bought it for your business and you're never going to wear it for anything else, it is not tax deductible outside of certain particular exceptions, and this is one. So, for example, if you have a logo put on your, say like a top, let's say for example you're a yoga teacher, if you have a yoga top and you have a logo on it, then that top then becomes advertising, and as such it then becomes tax deductible. You need to be sensible with this. This is not mean you can go and logo everything you wear and immediately it's tax deductible. That is, no, you won't get away with that. But for sensible, and particularly if you quite fancy treating yourself to something particularly nice. So for example, you might want to have a Lululemon yoga top with your logo on it. So one to wear, one to wash. But that works absolutely fine. So that's advertising. Pretty much all advertising is tax deductible. So that's to say, local newspapers, local magazines, all that kind of stuff. It's all really, really simple. It's pretty much always going to be tax deductible. And number 7, there we go. Number 7 is events. And for this, I'm talking about you going to an event that somebody else is hosting. So I'm talking local, having a stall at a local fete, having a stall at a local business show, that kind of thing, craft fairs, that sort of thing. And then again, if you go to a conference and you're the person having the stall, or, a stand there, that works as well. this is going to events. Now, most of this is tax deductible because it comes into other categories. So we're talking the printing. You need a tablecloth. You might need to hire a table because occasionally you need to bring your own. All that kind of stuff is tax deductible. Particularly if you're buying a table, that might be a capital item, not an expense. So keep an eye on that. But generally speaking, most of it is going to be tax deductible. Again, keep an eye on the food and drink. If you do an event very, very hardly ever, like you only do the Christmas fair, then there's good possibility that the food and drink is going to be tax deductible because it's not in your usual realm of what you do. However, if you do these a lot and it's part of what you do normally, then sorry, food and drink's not tax deductible. Again, it counts as entertainment. So yeah, but again, most of the things for the event, and again, travel there, travel back, all that kind of stuff, that's all tax deductible. So again, go and have a look on the page. It's onemanbandaccounting.co.uk/Periscope. The link is in my Periscope profile, and if you're watching this on YouTube, then the link's below in the box. And if you're watching this anywhere else, then hopefully you're watching it in there. So go and have a look. It's the I'm Rosie Slowsick. I do retreat coaching and courses for one-man bands in the UK. So particularly digitals. People who love digital, and we're often introverts and we work from home, and we always love cake. So that's who I am, and if you really like the idea of all this and you want to know more about expenses and how to do it for your tax return, because we are in tax return season again, then have a look at my how to do your tax return course, which is www.bit.ly/tax return course. Or if you fancy doing your tax return in a cabin in ancient woodland, it's only 5 minutes from the London Underground. Absolutely brilliant. I've got a tax return retreat, which I believe is probably the only one in the UK and possibly the first one in the world. Then you can have the course and the retreat for pretty much the same price as just the retreat. So it's if you go to the retreat, you pretty much got the course for free. So that's at taxreturnretreat.biz. So I said, I'm Rosie Slowsack, and thank you very much.